Who's here on our Zoom? Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. I'm sorry. Actually, it's gonna be good evening. So it's around the world. We're live on Facebook. Okay, let's see who's here. Okay, there we go. Oh, Diamond, you're here. How are you? You must be on mute, dear. I think she's fixing her. Okay, let's see. Okay, for now, let's wait for the other participants. Anyways, we are live in Facebook, Zoom, here in Zoom, also in YouTube and Instagram. Now, let's go ahead and see who are in our Zoom right now. Let's check. I can see here Peter. You can see here Bliss. You can turn on your cameras, guys. There you go. Awesome. I can see your beautiful faces. Oh, I went off cam. There you go. Let's see. Okay. And I think it's Leo. Oh, Leo's gone. He'll be right back. Let's just wait for some few minutes and for some other participants. Actually, we're live on Facebook. I'm checking on it. Okay, people are coming in. All right. Okay, who's this iPhone? Hello. For the one that has iPhone on the name, you can change your name so we can see you. Oh, it's Leo. Hello. Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to Platinum Care Realty. My name is Kay and I am the broker's assistant. I want to welcome you to Unlocking Your Real Estate Wealth, where you will discover the facts about home buying and real estate investing. So let's welcome from Florida, Georgia, and around the globe, watching us live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Zoom. Okay, so for our Zoom rules, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, so for our Zoom rules, once you enter Zoom, please mute yourselves, right? And aside from that, every participant will be given the chance, to have a question and answer portion at the last 30 minutes of this session. And please, do your best to put yourselves on camera so we can see your beautiful faces and handsome faces. Okay, let's see who's on Zoom. On cam. Okay, everybody. Oh, Diamond, you can show your face. You can go on cam. I think she's not ready, but that's all right. Okay, so as you can see, we are live in Facebook, we are live in Instagram, we're live in YouTube, and here in Zoom. So here we're watching. If you're watching right now, you can go ahead and register. You could just go ahead and visit platinumkeyevents.com and register yourself to have this live session with us, and you will get the chance to have a one-on-one group session with the participants, or I mean presenters, and to ask question, because this segment will not be live on our stream. Okay. All right, so let me see. Let me check. Let me see. Okay, so who's interested in learning more on home buying process? You can just give me a thumbs up on the comment section.
Hey, Kay, good evening. It's Leonardo.
Good evening, Leonardo. It's my first time to see you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you too.
Awesome, awesome. It's great to have you here tonight. Awesome. We will learn a lot from you. Okay. All right. So tonight's event, what are you going to learn? It's actually our essential home buying process, a proven real estate investment strategies, and as well our insider tips from industry experts. Okay, so I would just like to introduce our team. So today we have our marketing department, Peter, as you can see. He's here. All right. Thank you for that, Peter. We also have our sales department, Bliss, and yours truly. Okay. And yes. All right. And finally, our awesome and gorgeous managing broker of Platinum Key Realty, Nikki Sanji.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Okay. Now, Nikki will take it from here.
Okay, welcome everybody. I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you for being on the Zoom. I know that many people are still making their way onto the Zoom. This is Unlocking Your Real Estate Wealth, and we are going to be digging deep into some tips on home buying and some tips on investing in real estate. Now we have a very special treat for you tonight. This evening, we have an awesome lender partner of us from in the person of Leonardo Noriega. I am gonna read a little bit about him, and then I am gonna turn the podium over to him, the session over to him, and he's gonna talk and he's gonna share a little bit. So let me get his bio up here. And Leonardo has been in the mortgage industry for over 21 years. So he has a vast level of expertise and knowledge on purchasing single family homes, condos, townhomes, dealing with investment property. So he is a very good resource for anyone looking to buy or invest in real estate. He is a part of the Serendipities Empowerment Team. He's actually the founder of that organization, and they go around doing education, helping people learn more about becoming a home owner. So without further ado, let us put our hands together and let us welcome my friends and one of our preferred business partners, Leonardo Noriega. Woo!
Hello, everybody, and good evening to everyone that's on the phone call. I just want to say that I appreciate everyone that is taking the time to get on this phone call with us and obviously join this presentation with Platinum Key Realty, because it means a lot. You know, if there's anyone that's there that's actually on the phone call that's interested in, you know, just anything that has to do with real estate ownership in general, you know, whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're looking to purchase your first, second home, vacation home, or looking to get into your first investment property and turn the investment of the real estate into an income, that's the person that we're looking for, to be a part of this event here and kind of go through some of the ins and outs and the start and the finish of anything pertaining to just real estate ownership. As Nikki mentioned, when she did the introduction of myself, my name is Leonardo Noriega. I'm actually a loan officer and in the mortgage industry right now, 22 years, going on 23 years. So I'm fairly well seasoned, obviously, in this side of the business. And I'm also the founder for Serendipity's Empowerment Team, which, as Nikki mentioned, is a non-for-profit organization that actually goes around right now in actually two state markets, and God willing, going into the Texas market here soon as well. But being that I'm a licensed lender both in the state of Georgia and the state of Florida, those are the two footprints that Serendipity covers as far as the seminars that we offer, that are actually public and also private, to anyone that's looking to get the education part of anything pertaining to ownership in real estate. So right now we're offering these seminars in the Central Florida market and in the Central Georgia market, and soon to be also offering these services, seminars and the presentations in the Central Texas market. So I'm here obviously as part of the presentation as one of the partner lenders, and I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. I will go over obviously some information as we go through the presentation as well, as far as market more than anything, is what the temperature is like right now for real estate, which is very important for most people, especially that are not in the actual business side of it, as we go through the presentation. But I'm here to answer any questions, any concerns anyone has at any point in time. So I appreciate for allowing me to be a part of it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Leo. So right now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to get into the presentation. And as we go through, we're going to have a lot of questions for Leo, because we got to learn how to find the money. How do we pay for these things that we want to do? So let me go ahead and just share my screen real quick. And let's get going. Okay, let's get going. All right, let's do this. So slideshow from the beginning. There we go. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yes, we do.
wonderful. So this is the Unlocking Real Estate Wealth presentation. And then just some key facts of what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover what are important factors to consider when buying a home. What are the key investment strategies for real estate, and how can I secure financing? What are the top insights for real estate professionals on the current market? What are some of the common pitfalls to avoid, and how to build a successful real estate portfolio? So we're going to get right into the presentation now. What are the important factors to consider when purchasing a home? Now I have all my team here online, and I have drilled this into them. When you're looking to buy a home, there are three major factors, three areas that you must consider. Number one is your credit. You got to consider your credit. What is your credit score? If you're watching this and you have no idea of what your credit score is, you can use some apps just to give you an idea. Keeping in mind, that's not your real score. That's not the score the mortgage people use, but it will give you some idea. So you can use Experian, you can use Credit Karma, something like that, just to give you an idea of what is your credit score, so you can have some clue of where you are in the process. Now you got to find out what score is required for the mortgage approval that you want. So we have our lender, and we're going to be asking some of these questions shortly. You got to have an idea of the type of score that is required for the kind of product that you're looking for, wherever, however you want to be approved, whatever loan product you want to be approved for, there's a credit score that's tied to it. So you got to find out what score is that. Then you have to consider some other factors that are important to your credit. Certain things needs to be okay with your credit in terms of if you had late payments, in terms of there's collections, different factors that may be surrounding your credit. You got to have some knowledge as to how to go about those type of things and how those things will affect you when you're trying to get approved for a mortgage. All right. Then the next thing is your work history and your tax returns. Work history and your tax returns. How long have I been on my job? What do I need to show on my tax returns? How long have I been on my job? As a rule of thumb, got to be somewhere around 2 years. There are some differences. There are some variations that you can discuss with a mortgage professional, but somewhere around 2 years would be the ideal amount of time. What do I need to show on my tax return? Some people believe, oh, if I just file my tax, that's good enough. No, you got to show income on your tax returns. There are several things that you need to show on your tax return. Then if you are self-employed or you're a 1099 worker, how do you show sufficient income? What do you have to do to make sure that tax return looks good and that you're able to get qualified based on what is being shown on your tax return? Then the next step is you got to think about your down payment and your closing costs. Down payment and closing costs. What is the minimum amount of money I need to buy a house? How does closing costs work? And is there any 100% financing options? Is there any of these available? So these are the three major factors you have to consider when buying a house: credit, your work history, and your money. So now we're going to get into some questions and answer. We have our mortgage professional here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a little bit, and we're going to ask him some questions based off our presentation. Now, Leo, when it comes to credit score, what do people need to know? What is the rule of thumb in today's market, the type of credit score you need to buy a house?
So the best way to answer that question, just generally speaking, right, it would actually have to start with what the purpose of the transaction is. So when I say purpose of the transaction, what I mean is, are you looking to buy a primary residence? Are you looking to buy a second home or a vacation home? Or are you looking to buy, your first property? Depending on the purpose.
I think we're losing his connection. We're losing your connection a little bit, Leo.
I'm sorry. How's that?
All right, keep going.
How's that?
Keep going. Go ahead.
Okay. So just as an example, if your purpose is to purchase the property as your primary, then the credit score requirement in general right now is a 580 credit score. So minimum of a 580 credit score with the FHA loan product will get you into your primary residence. And if we're trying to purchase our first, second home or vacation home, then there's a minimum credit score requirement of a 640 credit score or higher. And then if we're looking to purchase our first
Wow,
That's
that's
just credit
interesting.
score there.
That's interesting. So if you're looking to buy a primary residence, you can have a credit score as low as 580.
As low as a 580 credit score for a first-time home buyer or a repeated primary residence. So that's a person that's never owned a property before, looking to buy their first primary residence, or a person that's actually currently owning a primary but looking to upgrade to a new primary residence.
Wow, I didn't know that one. So if someone is owning their primary and wanting to upgrade, they can still qualify under the first-time home buyer?
Not under the first-time home buyer. We're only talking about credit score right now.
The
So
credit
the
score of a 580.
you can still
Wow.
qualify for the new primary. Yeah.
Wow, I got you. Now let's jump into the work history and the tax returns, Leo. I know sometimes people can be a little confused, especially when it comes to the work history, having the 2 years, having to be in the same kind of industry, in the same kind of job. You know, tell us a little bit more about how lenders qualify you based off your work history and your tax returns.
Yeah, so the first and most important guideline about the work history part of qualification is that we look for a 2-year work history. So it has to be a minimum of a 2-year work history. And then the second part of it is that's the timeline. And the second part of it is we look for 2 years in industry of work. So, for example, if someone's in the health industry, you know, as long as they have a 2-year work history in the health industry, then they're going to be okay. That's whether they worked at a hospital for the first year, and then let's say that they moved to a small mom and pop clinic for the second year, they're still good as long as they're in the same field of work. So 2 years, same field of work. Now, that's when you're considered what's called a wage earner, meaning someone that's actually working for an employer or a job or a company and is actually receiving their payroll income under a W-2. That's what a wage earner was as a lender. So they're receiving a W-2 at the end of the year, and then they go and they file their income that way for tax purposes. So it's an employee. That's the 2-year guideline for work history. If you are someone that's considered self-employed, meaning that you own a business or you run an LLC or you hold what's considered an independent contractor position, which means that you're actually working for a company, but they're not paying you as a wage earner or on a W-2. They're actually paying you on a 1099 as an independent contractor. Then the guideline is a little bit different depending on how long you've actually been either self-employed or an independent contractor. We still have to look at the 2-year history in those scenarios. We have to still see that you've been in the same industry for 2 years. But what's a little bit different with self-employed is that we can actually qualify you after 1 year of being fully self-employed, as long as you can document a tax return for that first year.
Wow.
So as a quick example, just really quick example, let's say that you've been in pharmaceuticals for the past 5 years, but you were working as a wage earner for a company, you were selling pharmaceuticals. But then at the end of last year, you decided to go ahead and form an LLC, right? Which is basically a business that you decided to form and incorporate, and you're still going to be doing the same type of work. You're still selling pharmaceuticals, but now you're actually doing it as an independent contractor, right? Because you're working and earning this income under the LLC name. As long as you can provide 1 year tax return, 1 full year tax return that shows that you've been independent for that full year, but prior to that full year, you were doing the same type of work as a winner, then we can still qualify you with that 1 year independent contractor or self-employed tax return.
Wow.
That's a little bit different with self-employed and wage earners.
Mhm. All right, so let me see if I'm getting this right, Leo. So are you saying that I can be a nurse? I've been a nurse for a lot of years. And then last year, I decided to have an LLC. Is it that I still have to be doing the medical industry in that LLC, or I can do any industry in the LLC to be qualified for that year?
So great way to put it. It would be the medical industry. So as long as you're still in the medical industry, but now you're doing it independently, that's the difference, right? Then you're still good for qualification purposes.
So no matter what, you got to have a 2-year history of working in a particular industry.
In the same industry. So what you really got to focus on, what everyone needs to understand on that part is that you, as long as you're in the same industry, and we can document that you're in that industry for 2 years minimum, 2 years, then you're okay with whether you're a wage earner at the time that you apply for the mortgage or you are now self-employed at the time.
Wow, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Then the last area we have is down payment and closing costs. You know, a lot of people are looking for ways to reduce the money that is required to buy a home. Some people really want a home, but they just don't have the money. They're not able to save up that bulk of a money. Can you share with us a little bit about down payment and closing costs first? Give us an idea of how much they run, and then what are some alternatives or what are some ways people are going about getting around having to have all that cash up front?
So the down payment and closing cost question, which for us on the lender side becomes what we consider the investment part, It also varies depending on the purpose. So as I mentioned originally, right, depending on what the purpose of the transaction is, it's going to dictate what credit score you need for whatever particular type of transaction you're doing. It's the same thing for down payment, not necessarily for closing costs, but it is for down payment. So as an example, again, if your purpose is to purchase the primary residence, right, this is the property you're going to live in, then mortgage lending products right now in the market have a minimum down payment requirement of 3% as a down payment. And that would be the conventional loan product, because we have Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac insured products, which would be the conventional loan product. And then we have pretty much government insured products, which would be the FHA loan, the USDA loan, and the VA loan. I'll get into VA in a moment. But if you're purchasing as a primary, right now, the minimum down payment requirement would be the 3%. Now, if you were purchasing that second home or that vacation home, then the minimum down payment requirement now becomes 10%.
Wow.
So it's a little bit of a higher down payment percentage if you're purchasing that second home. And then finally, if you're purchasing an investment property, the minimum down payment now requires to be 20% of whatever the purchase price is. So it's all purpose driven. Okay. Now, when it comes to assistance, which is something that Nikki just mentioned right now, it's okay, well, if I can't come up with the 3%, the 10%, or the 20%, you know, what are the options that I have available to me that will actually assist me with those funds? So there really is only one assistance option when it comes to down payment and closing costs on any transaction, but it's only for primary residences. So if you're looking to purchase your first home as your primary residence that you're going to live in, and I'll go through the actual qualification criteria, and you haven't owned any real estate 3 years, as a minimum of 3 years prior to your application, then you can qualify for down payment assistance. The down payment assistance source can come from different areas. The ones that we primarily use in the mortgage industry are going to be the city, the county, the state assistance program, and then a very small percentage of lenders can also offer what's considered in-house down payment assistance program, which are actually considered grants that the lender is actually going to help you with on the down payment side. So for example, ourselves, Serendipity as a lender, we actually do offer internal down payment assistance programs. So if for whatever reason you don't qualify for the county assistance, the state assistance, or the city assistance, then we do have internal investor grant programs that we can actually qualify you for the down payment assistance. Now that's again just for primary purchase transactions. If you're looking to purchase the second home or you're looking to purchase the investment property, then you will not qualify for any of the assistance programs, because the assistance programs are only for first-time home buyers purchasing their first primary residence.
Wonderful. So Leo, everyone is talking about, oh, there's 100% financing options out there. What are some of the 100% financing options?
So there's really only two, right now in this market, there's really only two 100% financing options. Well, if you want to look at this one, this would be a third one too. But so as far as mortgage products is concerned, the VA loan product, which is only for veterans that qualify, will actually offer a 100% financing option. So if you're a veteran looking to purchase a property, you can get into that home with no down payment requirement. You are only required to bring closing costs. Again, that's specific to veterans only. Then second to that, we have the USDA loan product, which is insured by the government, which is really insured by HUD, which is an institution that's insured by the government. And under that USDA loan product, you can also qualify for 100% financing. The only restriction with that product that everyone has to consider is that it will only cover what's considered rural area eligible properties. So these would be properties that would be, for the most part, outside of a major metropolitan area. Okay, that's the one thing to consider with the USDA loan, but it's definitely there. Now, aside from that, the other options that are right now available are what's called an 80-20 loan. An 80-20 loan basically means that you would be financing the entire purchase price of the property that you're going to purchase by qualifying yourself and taking out two loans instead of one loan. So where normally speaking, you would do a first mortgage, let's say at 95% of whatever the purchase price is, and then you bring 5% down plus your closing costs. That's the first mortgage at 95%. With an 80-20, what you're doing is you're actually financing your down payment in the 20% part of the loan. But now what has to be considered with this option is that you're going to actually have two mortgages instead of one. So the first mortgage would be at 80% of the purchase price, and then the second mortgage will be at 20% of the purchase price. So as a quick example, if you're purchasing a property at $100,000, if that's the purchase price, then your first mortgage would be an $80,000 mortgage loan, and then your second mortgage would be a $20,000 mortgage loan. What you're doing is you're pretty much financing 100% of the property so that there's no down payment requirement. And in this scenario, you're only going to be responsible to bring to closing your closing costs.
Wonderful. Okay. So there are 100% financing options. You can
That's
do US.
That's the one product. That's it. Right now, that's the one product.
Wow. So we have USDA, we have VA, veterans, and then now there is this 80-20 option that is going around. So there you go. That's the information on the 100% financing options. So now we have spent, I would say, about 30 minutes or so talking about home buying. I want us to dig a little deeper into real estate investing. and some options about real estate investing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slide again. And we are actually at this slide that says, what are the key investment strategies for real estate and how am I going to secure financing? How do I get financing? And then on my other slide, my tip for you is you got to know your options. You got to know your options. Investing in real estate is not a game. It is not a game. You can get bankrupt just by getting in. You need some kind of written plan, and you will need to master just one or two strategies that match your personality, right? Make good partner choices, and then of course, execute the plan. What's the point of doing the research, partnering, studying, and then you still sit and you do nothing? Oh, I've seen it so often. So you got to execute the plan. Now, there are several types of investments. They are investing in single family homes, investing in multifamily properties, flipping properties, wholesaling properties, tax liens, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat, all sorts of options, all sorts of acronyms. So I'm going to stop sharing the slide and we are going to speak to our industry professional. And we want to know, Leo, if we're looking to buy an investment property, okay, Leo, what's the new products out there for investors? What's new? What's new, Leo? How do we get money?
Okay, so first and foremost, the way that Nikki just ended this, right? This question that she just ended for me. How do we get money? Right? I wanna actually tag on to that last statement, because for most people, when they think about real estate investing, right, they think, wow, this is, how am I gonna get this started? I need to have X amount of money. How do I get started, right? When the reality is that there are a variety of financing options also, where they're gonna obviously purchase money through financing. In our seminars, what we teach anyone looking to purchase real estate is you're not really purchasing real estate. I like to talk about this more on the investment part. What you're really doing is you're purchasing money. So anytime you're purchasing real estate, you're not buying the actual real estate. What you're actually buying is the money that you're financing to acquire the real estate. And I like to always start there because, again, when you're thinking about investing for the first time in real estate, you always say to yourself, this is impossible. It'll take me 5, 10, 20 years. But it really doesn't take that long. So when it comes to financing options, right? So there's 2 ways to get into your first investment property. But again, it is always going to come down to the purpose. So purpose, I like to talk purpose first. But now we're only talking investing, right? So as Nikki mentioned, purposes that she just mentioned would be, are you trying to purchase a property, fix the property, and resell the property, which would be considered a fix and flip transaction? Or are you looking to purchase your first property and turn it into a rental income? And then from there, purchase a second, a third, a fourth, and hopefully build a portfolio of rental properties, right? Or are you looking to purchase your first multifamily, right? Multifamily, which would be a triplex, a duplex, or even a quadruplex property, 1 unit, but has, we call them doors, has multiple doors that you would actually rent out so that you can also turn that into an income. It just really depends on what the purpose is. The financing is also according to the purpose, right? So one product that we offer that's an actual specialty product that can actually cover all 3 of those purposes that I just mentioned, that would actually cover your fix and flip, that will cover your first, and really it has no limitations on a portfolio for rental income properties. And then under that umbrella, you will also be covered for what's considered new construction, which a lot of investors don't think about when they think about investing into real estate. So you have three purposes. You have a fix and flip, you have a rental property, and you have new construction, which would basically mean that you would actually build a property for the purposes of turning it into an investment property. You're not going to live in it. You're going to rent this property out. So you have this one product that will cover all three purposes, right? Now, the benefit of this product here, I'm going to talk about this one first, and then I'll go into the conventional one after that. Benefit of this product here is that you're not required to have experience on any of those three. You're not required to be experienced as a fix and flipper. You're not required to have rental homes already under your belt. And you're also not required to have new construction experience. The qualification criteria for this product are these three that I'm going to mention right now. Very easy. One's a little tougher, and it may take time, but again, the experience goes out the window. So first is your minimum credit score requirement, which is a 620 credit score or higher for this product. Second, we do what's called a verification of liquid assets. Liquid assets for this product would mean that you have a certain amount of money sitting in an account of any sort, or even a retirement account, that you're going to actually be using towards the investment part of your first transaction. And that minimum is $70,000. So as long as you can verify that you have $70,000 in an account ready to go, that's your second part of the criteria. And then the last part, which I actually already mentioned, is if you are an experienced investor already, that experience can actually maximize the amount of financing that you can actually qualify for on your first transaction. So if you have experience, you're going to be able to borrow more money than someone without no experience, right? If you have no experience, let me talk to those first-time investors right now. If you don't have any experience, but you have the $70,000, but you have the 620 minimum credit score, then you're going to qualify for up to a $500,000 exposure limit on a line of credit, because it's considered a line of credit for real estate, commercial, and investment purposes only. Now, where the financing, down payment, and closing costs come into the picture is if you don't have any experience, you have zero experience in this, then your maximum financing on that first project that you actually use the line of credit for is gonna be 80% financing. So I'll go back to the example I gave before. So if your first investment property has a purchase price of $100,000, then your down payment on that property is going to be 20%, which would be $20,000 plus whatever your closing cost is. If it's a fix and flip, then you can actually finance a certain percentage of that rehab money that you're going to need. You can actually finance it also on top of the purchase price. So, I have to get into a specific example to actually show you how the math works there. But again, that product is available to you, and you can cover all three of these investments out of that one product. The best part of this product is that you don't have to income qualify for it.
Wow.
There is no income qualification criteria to this product. We will have to get, your income information on the application. I do have to have at least 2 years, but we don't actually have to document your income to qualify you for this product. That's the difference, and that's why it's a specialty product for investment purposes only. Now, in addition to this, we have a product that I'm actually using in all three markets that I'm in right now with all the investors I work with. In Florida, in Georgia, and now even in Texas. I actually just got my first Texas contract for one of my investors on Thursday. Yes, I just got my first contract. So there's a product out there. Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So there's a product out there that's called the DSCR loan product. This DSCR loan product is primarily for rental property portfolio investors only. So this is that one investor that has decided that what they want to do in the real estate investment platform is they want to acquire multiple properties to turn them into rental income and build a portfolio of rental incomes from these properties. The DSCR loan is specific to that one type of investor. Benefits of this product are 620 credit score minimum requirement. Also, that it does not require experience either, so you could be non-experienced. There is no income qualification on it either. And then the best part of this product is that you can actually acquire more than 5 properties under either an LLC name, which would be a business name, or you can acquire them under your personal name. So there's no actual maximum of properties that you can actually have under your name personally or under the business name. And then once again, there's no income qualification. What the lenders do, what we do to qualify you for this product is we actually use what's called a factor percentage between what the rental income on that property is going to be in comparison to what the mortgage payment and the property taxes, homeowners insurance, and homeowners association, if there is one there. We have a factor percentage that we use to qualify you for that particular purchase. And a lot of this has to do with the inspection on the property, which is the appraisal that would be ordered. But again, it's not income qualification driven whatsoever. This is a product that I'm doing in all 3 states right now with multiple investors that are looking to build on that income portfolio from the rental property.
Okay.
The last product, which I'm going to explain really quick, is what the traditional investment property purchase product is, which is a regular conventional loan that's secured from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And then that credit score criteria is actually a little bit more tougher. So you need at least a 660 credit score or better to qualify for that. And you have to have a 20% down payment requirement. You have to qualify with the income. And I will also add, as the last point on that product, is that the interest rates are a lot higher on that product. And a lot of times you actually have to wind up paying what's considered points for the interest rate, which is an additional cost to your closing costs that actually comes with the interest rate that you choose on that loan. So there's a lot of options there, but what would benefit a lot more right now, because the interest rates are so high on the investment side, is the actual non-qualifying mortgage products that I first mentioned.
Okay, wonderful. So Leo, there is so much buzz over this DSCR. Am I saying it right? DSCR loan product, where the property actually qualifies for itself. So it's not really your income. And you can buy it in an LLC, as you said, and you can also purchase it under your own name. So with this product, Leo, do they check your credit score as the individual?
Yes. So the credit score criteria is as a personal. So we will run your credit report the same way we do with any other mortgage. And again, for that product, the minimum credit score is a 620.
It's a 620. Okay. And then for that property, you still need down payment, correct?
Yeah. So for the DSCR loan, you have to have down payment. There's no way to get around it. But again, the benefits are that there's no income qualification because we're qualifying the property. That's what we're doing. Okay.
So what kind of down payment are you looking at for that loan product?
So I'll give you the minimum, right? So 620 credit score, which is the lowest credit score on this product. 620 credit score is going to require, for a first timer, no experience, going to require 25% down payment. for someone with this product really varies a lot with the credit score. So for someone with a 660 credit score, no experience, you can qualify with 20% down payment. So 660 and higher on the credit score, it's going to be 20% down payment. And that's the minimum down payment requirement on this product. So there's nothing under the 20%.
20%. So the first product you mentioned, which is a specialty product, where you still need that 620 credit score, but you need at least 70,000 in your savings somewhere as liquid cash that can be shown. Tell me again a little bit about the down payment requirements for that loan.
So the down payment requirement, what's different with that product is that if you are experienced with that product, you can actually get up to 95% financing on your first transaction. The experience that we look for in that product is the last 3 years. So what we'll do is we have a form that we have you fill out as the investor applicant. And on that form, you're going to show us any fix and flip products, properties, any rental products you have, and also real estate that you own. So this will include your primary residence, right? As long as you have those experiences in the last 3 years from the time that you apply for this product, this particular product with us, then we will consider those experiences. One experience can get you 85%, and then 3 experiences or more in the last 3 years can get you up to 95% finance.
Wow.
That's what's a little bit different with this product, and that's why it's a little bit more beneficial.
Wow, that's interesting. So if you're watching us and you're interested in investing in real estate, you just learned how to find the money. You learned about some loan products that are for investors, and you learned about the credit score required, the down payment required, and a little bit more about how the product works. So we are about to wind down for today's live session, and I'm going to share my screen one more time as we
Nikki,
go ahead.
I want to point out one last thing with both
Sure.
of these investor products. It's very important for everyone to know. Using the DSCR loan or using what we call the jumbo line of credit product, the two that I just went over, you are actually able to finance properties throughout the entire country. So it actually covers all 48 states, and I can actually, as a lender, assist you with all 48 states. I have investors that are in Florida that are actually purchasing property in Georgia, Florida, and in Texas.
Wow.
So it's just one thing to consider there, which is huge.
Wow. Well, we surely appreciate you today, Leo, for showing us the money. Show me the money. So as we get ready to sign off for today's session, I just want to do a little overview of, my spiel today. So number one, I have here on my slide, make sure you have a written plan. You need to map your journey. You got to know where you are and where you want to be. So you have to write it down. Then number two, ask questions about what you don't know. So once you have the plan written down, you want to go ahead and ask some questions. That's why you write your plan down, because then you can see what you don't know and what questions you need to ask. Do some research, take a class, read a book, watch a video, get those question answers in whatever way you can. Then get the right professional to partner with. I say here, don't be cheap. I'm telling you, so many people want to be cheap. They need to hire a painter, they need to hire somebody, and they go cheap. And cheap costs you in the long run. No one is telling you to go out and blow money and waste money, but just get cheap out of your mind. Because if you do that, you're better off. Then don't use your family or your friend if they have not proven themselves. So many people want to buy a home. So many people want to invest. And they says, my friend, my cousin, my brother, my sister, and they have never invested in real estate. They have never even closed on a home. So don't go use your family just because. Make sure that family member you're looking to has done something and they have some experience. Then number 4 on my list is, what area are you looking at? We know in real estate, it says location, location. You got to know where you want to be. You got to know what you want to do. You got to have some idea. So many people come, I want to invest, I want to buy. Where? No clue. So take some time, figure out where you want to be. Then my next tip is timing. Timing. Make sure you know the current market conditions. You don't just get up and say, I'm going to the beach, and you don't know if it's raining. You got to know the timing. What's the weather like? What's happening in the world? Is it a good time for me? What's happening in my own family, in my own life? Taking on this project, is it going to work for me? Because think about it, if you're fixing and flipping and things are not going right in your household, then you can't move fast and you're losing money. It's just downhill from there. So timing in every essence, in the market, in your family, in your personal life, in your financing, timing is very important. Then number 6, guys, I'm telling you, I see this one every day. Zero in and execute. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. So many people are sitting on the fence. They're just sitting on the fence looking at everybody doing stuff, and they are not pulling the trigger. They have researched, they have compiled all the information. They have all the statistics. They have everything required, but yet still they're not doing anything. So I'm encouraging you to go ahead and pull the trigger. And as we sign off for tonight, I want to thank you. My name is Agent Nikki Sonji. On behalf of myself and my entire team at Platinum Key Realty and our special guest, Mr. Leonardo Noriega, I want to thank you so much for tuning in, participating, and watching. And until next time, God bless you. All right, let's clap and tell everybody bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,